Oi! It is your boy G20, and I figured today, let's do a little bit of a Road to NHL 21 video. Okay, let's talk about some things that I feel NHL or EA Sports cannot miss in NHL 21 with a brand new and improved Be a Pro. Now, I say it improved. I haven't played it. I assume it's improved because they've worked on it. You feel me? They told us it's improved, so I'm just going off of what they said and saying it got improved. We're about to find out what it is in the next couple of weeks. Whenever they release it, we're gonna find out new information. But I figured let's talk about some things that I would like to see right here, right now, in the NHL 21 Be a Pro experience. The first thing being, since we're allowed to be in Europe, right? We are allowed to start in the European leagues. That's been confirmed. You can start. I'm not sure which European leagues are eligible. I'm assuming it's all of them, but you never know. Okay, you never know. So it could be just the DEL. It could be just Liga. I don't know which one it is, but I'm assuming you have a multitude of opportunities. Okay, just like the CHL, you can pick either the Q, the O, or the WHL. I'm assuming multiple European leagues are available. But here's the thing, though, and I know this for a fact, and it's fitting that Alex Radulov just scored the goal as I'm about to say this, but I know that a lot of my viewers that are from places like Sweden and Finland and the UK, they would like to stay in European leagues if they want to. They would like the option to stay there. How did Jamie Benn miss that, by the way? Dear Lord. Because European leagues like Liga and the SHL, stuff like that, they're pro hockey leagues too. So I would love to see, once we are drafted by an NHL team, right, to have the option to go, you know what? Nah, I'm going to stay in Europe for a while, and I'm going to be one of the best players, and I'm going to chase the records in Liga, or chase the records in whatever league that I started with. I feel like if you have the experience, right, if you have the European leagues within the Be a Pro atmosphere, then give us the opportunity to just stay there. Now, personally, I think I would make one file where I would stay in Europe, and my main YouTube file would not be there, but I'm just saying there's a lot of people, a lot of international hockey fans that would love the opportunity to have a career with their favorite team. And in that same vein, in that same train of thought, once we do get to the NHL, right, once we play a few seasons in the show and whatever, when we hit free agency, I would absolutely love, and there's no reason why they couldn't do this, I would love the option, like Alex Radulov, to just go, you know what, the NHL is nice and all, but I'm just going to leave, pack my shit, and go on to be a star in Europe. Listen, I know that the main objective of the game is to be an NHL legend, but I'm just saying, for all of the European players, for all of the international players, it would be huge, and it would absolutely 100% appreciate it. I know this from the comments. I know this from posts I've seen. Like, if you just look around and try to acknowledge those people, they will tell you, okay, they would love to stay or go there whenever they please. And Radulov is the perfect example of it. He played in Nashville for a little bit, and then he said, you know what? F this, I'm going to Europe. Went to Europe, tore it up, and then the Preds practically begged him to come back for the playoff run, and then he came back. It didn't work out so well at first for Radulov, but he became an NHL star afterwards. So I hope that we have the opportunity to go to Europe if we feel like it, because it is professional hockey. It really is. But since we're talking about leaving teams and choosing where to go and all that stuff, free agency. Listen, this new and improved NHL 21 Be a Pro, if I go to free agency and I see two contract offers, one from my current team and one from some random team, both of them being 2 years, I am going to lose it, okay? They need to fix that. If you're going to add everything else, okay, if you're going to devote time and resources to improving Be a Pro, that needs to be a thing. That was disgusting. That needs to be a thing that we see, is an improved free agency. Let me negotiate my contract. Let me approach certain teams that I am interested in playing for. I'm not saying you should pick exactly where you want, because sometimes, you know, the teams just don't have the cap space, or they flat out just don't want you. Okay, if you're a good goalie, but a team has two goalies already, they're not going to want you. But I'm just saying, I want options. I want the ability to negotiate my contract. I want the ability to sign a contract longer than 2 years. Okay, I've never once seen it a contract longer than 2 years and be a pro. Not in 20. Not in NHL 20. I keep saying this, but the template that I would use for how free agency should work is how MLB The Show does it, right? There's a few teams that give you some offers, and then you can go off of that. You can start negotiating. And then if you push it too far, they just go, all right, screw you, we're not going to take you. And if not, well, you can come to an agreement and sign with them. You can sign a long-term, short-term, whatever term you want. That's up to you. You can negotiate. I would love to see that in NHL 21. The next thing that I would love to see is for the request trade to work a little bit better than it currently does. Usually, you can't get traded until you are at least an 80 overall. And I feel like that's a little bit annoying. And that's no matter your performance, that's the fact. If you're like a 78 overall and you request a trade, they'll usually tell you you're not good enough to be traded, even though you have 12 points in 15 games. You're like, okay, listen, I'm out here, I am scoring, I am a productive NHL player, and you're telling me that I'm not good enough. By the way, I'm on your first line too, and you're telling me that I'm not good enough to be traded. I feel like that needs to go away. I feel like if you're not producing, and if you're on the fourth line or something, sure, then I understand why that message comes up. But I would like to be able to be traded if I'm being productive. Just because I know for a fact that sometimes you get drafted to a team and you really don't want to play there. You really don't want to play there, and a lot of you, what you end up doing is just restarting your Be a Pro. And no one wants to do that. No one wants to do that shit, especially if you did like a 15-year-old Be a Pro where you start and you play a lot of years, like 3 years in the juniors, only to get drafted by some team you don't want to play for, and then you have to grind till you're like 80, 81 overall to request a trade. Listen, I don't want to do all that. Let me get traded if I want to get traded. The next thing I would love to see is, since they're adding interaction and chemistry, stuff like that, with your teammates, with your coaches, with management, things like that, I would love for the game to communicate to you how close you are to becoming a captain. Okay, I get this question every single year, and I get it dozens and dozens of times. How do you become captain? Nobody knows, right? If you only know how to be captain if you've been captain in the game at least once. Other than that, if you haven't been captain yet, there's not a single person out here that knows how to do it. Hell, even people like me who have been captain before, we still don't know quite for sure 100% what is going to give you captain, because I've had files where I'm miles above any of my teammates as far as overall rating goes, and then the captain leaves the team, and then they give the captaincy to somebody else. It's mind-blowing. Just let me know how close I am to being a captain. Make it a big deal when I am a captain, and please have something else involved other than being a high overall player. And in that same vein, all right, since we're talking about being a captain and stuff like that, how about, and here's a crazy thought, if I go to free agency as a captain, but I re-sign with my team, how about I get to keep the captaincy? Because in previous years, if you go to free agency but you re-sign with your team, they strip that captaincy away from you. It's happened to me in my Be a Pro series. If you don't believe me, you can go ahead and check that out. But if you re-sign with your team, you lose your captaincy. And if you combine that with the fact that you can only get 2-year contracts in free agency, and that you need the captain to leave for you to become captain, usually you only get to wear the C for 1 season. And that sucks, especially if I re-sign with the team. I want to be able to be captain again. And listen, if you leave for free agency and then you re-sign with the team, I understand that you were a free agent for 1 day and technically you were off the roster, and that's why that happens. If that's the case, then let us sign an extension mid-season, or let us re-sign in the re-sign phase. There is a re-sign phase for a reason, right? You get to use it in franchise mode. Why can't you use it and be a pro? Why can't the team approach you and go, yo, you've been great for us, we want to extend you, here's what we're offering, and then you get to negotiate during the re-sign phase. I feel like that would be dope. I would also love to communicate with my coach if I like a certain line or not. For example, if I want to stay on the second line because I have good chemistry with the center and the first line just doesn't work, I would love to be able to tell my coach, yo, I feel good on the second line. If you could keep me here, I would love it. I would also love if you could tell the coach that you're not trying to kill no penalties. Let me decide. Listen, I understand that the coaching in the NHL, if a coach tells you to kill penalties, you're going to kill penalties. But in my creative player, right, when I create my character, if I don't want to be a 5-tool player and I want to be an Ovechkin type where I'm playing 5-on-5 and I'm playing all the power play minutes that I can, and I want to keep my energy for goal scoring, I want to be able to do that. And I'm trying to say things in this video that they could realistically do and add to the game relatively quickly. But one thing that would take a little bit more time to add, and I understand if it's not there, but I would love to see, is some practice drills. Okay, if I want to work on my shot, let me go into practice between games and do some practice drills with my shot. Okay, let me do that, earn some XP that way, so that, you know, practice becomes a part of the professional hockey player. Because it is, you feel me? And if you don't want to do it, you know, make it optional. Make it so if I don't want to practice, that's fine. I can just play the games, whatever. But if I do go into practice, then I'm rewarded for it with some extra XP. And I'm not saying, like, give me 3 XP for working on a thing. Like, make it a difference where if you consistently go to practice, you are going to develop a lot faster than somebody who doesn't go to practice. Because, I mean, that's how sports works. If you practice, you're going to become a lot better than somebody who doesn't. Small touches would also be nice. If I request a trade away from my team, I get traded, and I come back to that city, I want to get booed. All right, listen, I want to get booed because that's a thing that would happen, especially if I'm, you know, a long-standing player and I devoted a decade to my team, and then they couldn't surround me with anybody, so I decided to sign with the Leafs in free agency, and then I have the entire fan base triggered for no reason. I would love for that to be a thing. I mean, it's not like we haven't seen it happen. I'm just saying we've seen it happen in the real NHL. Some people are still triggered years later. And finally, I will leave on something for the OGs, something for the people that have been playing Be A Pro for a long time or played the first years of Be A Pro when it was first introduced. Bring back hockey cards, please. I know they don't have a purpose in gameplay, but they were so fun. If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically in NHL you used to unlock milestones. It went amateur, then pro, then I think veteran, and then all-star, and then superstar. I think that's what it went. It went something along those lines. I don't remember exactly what it was. But every time you unlocked one of those milestones, you unlocked a new hockey card. And you could then go to replay mode, take a picture of your character, and assign it to your hockey card. That was dope. It was awesome because it would track your stats and everything. The only thing I would make different from how it used to work is give me a different hockey card progression thing for each character that I make, as opposed to having it one in, they used to call it the performance tracker, as opposed to having one for all my Be A Pro characters. Give me one per character. That would be dope. It's just one of those things that lets you go back and look at your older hockey cards and see your journey throughout the NHL. I feel like that is awesome, and they definitely need to bring that back because that was cool, right? When you got to the end of your career and you look back at your first hockey card and you're like, damn, I was on that team. It was dope. So that's pretty much what I think for Be A Pro. I'm trying to keep it realistic. Obviously, there are things that I would love to add and Be A Pro that are not as realistic. I try to keep this video to things that could actually be done. So let me know if there are things that you would like to see in the comment section, man, because I'm telling you, they are watching and they are reading, all right? So you let me know in the comment section. You let them know in the comment section what you want to see in Be A Pro. But that is my list of very doable things that they could do for NHL 21. Please do it. I would love it. I have a strong feeling I'm going to like the new Be A Pro. These are just things that are going to make it even better. All right? Thanks for watching. I appreciate all of y'all. By the way, this gameplay game is crazy. There's been a lot of goals. I don't even know what the hell the score is. It's 5-3. Good Lord. We're only in the second period. I would love this to be a finals because then you have Unstoppable Force, which is the Lightning's offense, versus Immovable Object, which is the Dallas Stars defense. At times. At times, it's looked like that. Anyway, I'm rambling now. I'm out. Peace.